my name is Hannah Cardew, and I will be talking about the importance of GMOs in vaccines. So I'm filming this on my phone, so I'm not sure if it will run out of storage, so hoping for the best, because it wasn't working on my computer. So this is what we're working with. Okay. So most people think of GMOs, when they think of GMOs, they think of crops, because like the general population they go into a grocery store, they see all this like non-GMOs, see a little bit of it in the news, all of that. And I'm even an agriculture major, and I didn't even know that there were more uses for GMOs other than crops. But there are. It's widely used in the medical field. And so GMOs stand for genetically modified organisms. And basically what you do is, sorry, my laptop was going up. Basically what you do is modify genes to make them into something different. So some of the common uses for GMOs other than crops are with insulin, the hepatitis vaccines, and then they're also used in different vitamins like B2, B12, C, and E. And then some newer emerging uses are with creating a vaccine for Ebola as well as cancer. So those are the two I'm going to be focusing the most on throughout this. So what are bioethics? According to Michigan State University, a reputable university, the issue of bioethics is commonly understood to refer to the ethical implications and applications of health-related life sciences. So bioethics relates to the use of GMOs in the medical industry because these medicines are made for humans and often tested on animals, which both are living things, hence the term bio. And then it can be argued that testing on humans and animals is unethical, which is where the ethical part of bioethics comes from, due to the risks. And altering genes is often thought of as unnatural by a lot of people. But however, due to their aiding in human life, it could be argued that in fact these things are ethical because they're being used to save human lives as well as animals. So my thesis is, this rhetorical analysis is meant to explore the bioethical concerns that arise within the medical world regarding the use of GMOs. Okay, so one of the experiments I focused on for my rhetorical analysis was one that I found from 2018, where scientists used genetically modified stem cells along with tumor growth suppressors on mice. So half were also injected with T cells from chickens that were genetically modified, aiding in the growth suppressors. The results showed that the mice given the genetically modified T cells developed anti-tumor immunity, which suppressed the tumor growth. And then these results show that GMOs could aid in the production of cancer vaccines used to treat humans diagnosed with cancer. So this was especially important to me because a lot of people in my family have died due to cancer, and I feel like it's really important because of how many millions of people, hundreds of thousands of people die from this a year. Like, I'm pretty sure you and anyone else you know would easily be able to think of people close to them that have been affected by this disease, and it's really sad. So I think it's really cool that they're trying to find cures and using genetically modified organisms to help do this, because what I've started to learn in my research is that GMOs can do a lot more than we think. So another vaccine that's still kind of in the works but is really important is the Ebola vaccine, and this is made from genetically modified tobacco. So in a video produced by KBC, a Kenyan news program, during the 2015 Ebola outbreak documents a process of genetically modified vaccine cure. So reporter Judith Akalo explains that in 2015, a clinical trial took place in New Guinea in attempts to create a vaccine that would protect from the Ebola virus. During this trial, 11,000 people had already died by August of 2015, which is a lot. And most of those people were from New Guinea, which is where the clinical trial happened. So then we learned from someone named Richard Oder of Kenyatta University, who worked on the trial that the vaccine was made by, worked on this trial. This was made by genetically modifying 3 proteins found in the tobacco plant. And it's called the ZMapp, and it was found to be 100% effective. But the issue at this time was that there was a ban, I'm not sure if it's still there, but there was a ban in Kenya on GMOs, so because of that they were struggling to get it approved. So then we got, in this video, a perspective from a member of the parliament, and he explains that both the public and the parliament need to be persuaded more in order to get this really important vaccine approved to save tens of thousands of lives. So if this were to happen again, hopefully this vaccine would be able to prevent it from being a huge outbreak like it was before. So I also think that this is really important. Okay. So I figured out a better way to scroll, so this will be smoother. Alright, so I was curious after this, since this was from 2015, if there were any updates on the vaccine. So I found another one, and it talks about a study, and also that's about the ZMapp, and it talks about how the ZMapp was 100% effective, which matches with the other info from the video, causing it to be even more credible. So to conduct this experiment, the antibody response to multiple Ebola proteins in 79 non-human primates were observed using the ZMapp vaccine to test. So the results of the experiment showed that the ZMapp vaccine was in fact effective in targeting the antibodies of the Ebola vaccine in primates, showing that it likely could be helpful in preventing this disease in humans. So after this, I was kind of like, well, this is all for GMOs, basically. Like, it was, most of these were heavy and information-based, but they still kind of were showing research that showed the effectiveness of GMOs, so I would say they were in favor. So I decided to find out a little bit more about why people are against them. So, in a report by Cell Press, scientists explored the reasons people are against the use of GMOs. So the main area that they focus on is people's intuitive mind getting in the way of understanding the benefits of this technology. So to put it in perspective, people are scared of what they don't understand, because to a normal person not educated in the sciences, GMOs seem unnatural, and therefore they seem unsafe and really scary. And then an example to kind of put this in perspective would be how the older generation is typically less understanding when someone comes out from the LGBTQ community compared to when someone comes out to someone of the younger generation. So the authors express this because it's such an issue when trying to get people to be on the pro-GMO side. And so their point basically is the more people are educated on how the genetic modification process works, the more people will understand that it is completely normal, safe, and very beneficial, as the experiments showed. So all of this, as I stated earlier in the presentation, all of these sources showed ethical concerns because of testing on animals. 2 of the studies did, as well as using GMOs, which is in itself could be argued that it's an issue of bioethics, because yes, it's helping create something that could save many lives, but also it can be looked at as unnatural to mess with the genes that are already there. Even though it is a process that's been happening a lot more, especially recently, it's been happening a lot more. So it's kind of a big thing. So after analyzing these sources, I've come to the conclusion that although some animals have been harmed in the process of these experiments, due to the development of important vaccines that could cure cancer, which would be huge, and prevent another Ebola break, which would also be huge, I think that these experiments are necessary. And I learned that this process is extremely beneficial, which I didn't know before. Again, I only thought they were used with crops. So I think they are beneficial, especially in the medical industry. And without it, medicine would not be as successful as it is today, and would not go as far as it could if GMOs were not a thing. So after this rhetorical analysis, I understand the implications as well as the benefits of GMOs being used in vaccines, and I am for the continuation of this technology being used to develop vaccines. Thank you for listening. Bye.